Hey guys, welcome back. Curtis, ThatTurboDakota. So this video, I want to do a real quick update of what I've been working on all day Saturday. And then with that, I also want to do a video on how to set up your Dual Sync Distributor in your Dakota Ram 1500, maybe 2500, 5259 platform. So we're going to throw that in there as well. So let me turn the camera around and show you what I've been up to. Okay, so just a quick update. Here's what we got going on. Dash is back in the truck. Everything's hooked up. I temporarily put the digital dash in there. I had to wire in the radiator fan and the fuel pump. 12 volt key on for the Dominator, so that's all hooked up. What else? There's something else I put in there too. Oh, MSD box. So the 12 volt trigger for the MSD and the white coil wire that runs down through the carpet up to that. So all that stuff's hooked up. I still have to do injector power, so that means we got to run a 4-gauge wire for that MSD solid state relay block from the battery up here to the cab. But as you can see, as of right now, we'll go through the settings. We are live right now. So keys on. We do have power, CC, water temp, battery voltage, no oil pressure, a little bit of fuel pressure. So, we're talking to our dash, their CAN bus line, so that's cool. I'll make some mounts for that so we can put that in there, and then we'll tidy up all the wiring, loom it up, and run it. I still got to tie in the turn signal indicators into the back, so that stuff will work too. That'll be kind of cool. Maybe the high beam indicator as well. So that's it. So the harness and the motor is done. We got our new map sensor. All that reads great. I also got to plug up all these vacuum lines and that stuff. If you're curious, this connector right here, so this connector is part of the engine harness. What I did is I cut it back about 6 inches, and then that's where I found all our triggers for a radiator fan. Then I've got the factory neutral safety switch functioning. So we've got reverse lights, neutral safety works, and all that fun stuff. That all gets funneled through here. So I got all that hooked up and loomed up and ran to the back. So we're making good progress. Like I said, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to set up that Dual Sync distributor. We're going to find in top dead center, find our 50-degree reference angle. I'll pop the cap off real quick and show you how you roll it back and forth and get the LEDs lit up and all that fun stuff if you're curious about that. But we're bumping along. I did buy some Earl's grommets that we're going to put in the floor somewhere over here. We can run our 4-gauge up to our block. A couple other things I got to run to the back of the truck. The trigger for the transmission fan cooler, we got to do that. I got a temp sensor for the transpan that we still got to wire into our accessory port. I kind of got on my laptop, it's inside the house, and filled out or went through the pin map and started kind of populating stuff in there, so I knew what to do when I came out here. So again, just a quick update on the truck. I'm thinking next weekend we should be able to make this thing fire for the first time. There shouldn't be any reason why not. And then at the same time I'll be working to get kind of that accessory stuff tied up too, so she's movable under her own power. So again, just a quick update. Everything is looking really good. I'm happy with the way it turned out. So let's get into this Dual Sync distributor install. Okay, Dual Sync distributor on 5259 motor. First and foremost, right down here is your harmonic balancer. Now it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see it. So what I'll do is I might go underneath the truck. But there is a timing pointer directly under the water pump in this corner on my finger. And that's going to be really important. So first thing we got to do when we install this thing is make note of where your number 1 is. Typically on the Magnum motor, number 1's right in about the 7 o'clock position. So kind of right through this area right here. You can see, like I said, I already installed mine. But I'm going to tear it back apart to show you guys. But I've got it about right there. And the reason why that is important is you want your plug wires to fit. Unless you're making custom ones, then you can theoretically you could put that number 1 wherever you wanted, as long as you stay within the confines of the instructions and to put the thing in. So just make a note of that. So we know where we want number 1 to be. Now we have to find top dead center. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out number 1 spark plug, which is the spark plug right here on the driver's side, the very first one. So just give me a second. I'm going to pull that plug out. Okay, so pulled number 1 plug out real quick. It's right there. Now, top dead center. So here's what I do, and you can do this by yourself or with a buddy. But what I do is I take my finger and stick it over the spark plug hole while I'm rolling the crank over. And then once you start to feel pressure pushing your finger out, then we know we're close to top dead center. And then at that point, we can line the mark up on the balancer with the 0 mark on the front cover. If you give me a second real quick, what I'll do is I'll take you guys and I'll fish my phone down in there so you guys can see what all that looks like. So just give me 1 second. Okay, got my light out so you see better. So I'm going to fish you guys down here, so bear with me, okay? So right there. So you can see the timing pointer on the front cover right there. And then on our balancer, in fact, you can almost see it right now. So there's a mark right there at my fingertip, and then there's your timing strip with all your 10, 20, 30 degrees. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my socket and ratchet right there on the front balancer bolt and stick my finger in that number 1 spark plug. When I start to feel compression, then we'll take this mark right here and make sure it's lined up with 0, and that's how we know we're going to be on top dead center. So give me a second, I'm going to do that for us. Okay, I was trying to get you guys a good angle, so let me show you how I do this. So I can snake my finger around to here, up to here, and I can put my middle finger, my pointer finger, it doesn't matter, as long as I got something in there to make some kind of seal. And then we're going to start rotating this thing over. It's definitely easier with 2 people, but if you're by yourself, it is what it is. So actually you can already hear it. If you guys can hear that noise right there. So it looks like I got lucky and I was on it. So what I need to do is I got to rotate the crank backwards, and then we'll line this mark up on the balancer to the 0 mark on the front cover, because it looks like I actually went past it already. But again, not everybody gets that lucky on the first try. So what it is right now is I rotated it counterclockwise and went past it. And now we're going to come back through it. And again, I'm going to double check. I'm going to stick my finger down here like this. And then as I roll it, you should hear a little bit of pressure build up and a release with my finger. I don't know if you could hear that right there. So there it was. So now that I got that, I'm going to look down through here and very slowly rotate it. So my mark on my balancer is lined up where it says TDC on the front cover, which is right here. Okay, so I got it lined up for us. So, okay, so that's top dead center right there. I'm gonna pick the camera up. So now we're on top dead center. What I'll do is I'll put you guys down there so you can see it. Sorry about that. All right, so let me put you guys down here so you can see what I'm talking about. So there you go right there. See, it says TDC on the front cover. You can see my marks lined up with TDC. So right there is top dead center. So the next step after that, according to Holley, is we're going to set that distributor at a 50-degree reference angle. Now, there is some math that you could do. So you could measure the diameter of the pulley where timing mark is from the factory, and do a little bit of math, and you could and what that's going to tell you is how far to measure from that white mark to the 50-degree mark, because our balancers, they stop reading at 30. So you can either do that. Now what I did was I went on the underside of the truck. I rolled the balancer down so I could get to it, and then I took a measurement between 10 degrees and 30 degrees, which is 20, right? So I took that measurement, and then whatever that measurement was, I started from the 30-degree mark and measured on, and then I could figure out where 50 was, and then I scribed a line on it. And then that's our 50-degree before top dead center reference mark. So what I'll do is I'll actually roll the crank back for you guys, and I'll show you where my mark was. So let me put you back down in there for a second. We just rolled back. So you can see right there, if the camera focuses for a minute, there you go. So where that white paint mark is, right there, that's my 50-degree reference mark. And you can see the other rating on the balancer where it says 30. So like I said, I measure between 10 and 30, which gives us 20. 20 plus 30 is 50. Then I scribe a line. So after you do that, then what you're going to do is you're going to roll that harmonic balancer to that 50-degree reference line is where it says TDC, and that's our 50-degree reference angle as per Holley. Then at that point, then we'll drop the distributor in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch hands real quick so you guys can see me do this. This is really hard to do with one hand. So we're going to roll that thing back. Almost there. So right about there. I'm gonna move you guys out of the way so I can't see. I got the camera down here. So yeah, so right now, as of right now, our 50-degree mark pretty much lined up with top dead center. So that's our 50-degree reference angle that Holley's asking for in the instructions. So give me a second. I'm gonna pop this cap off and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, pop the cap off real quick for you guys. So just to recap, first thing we did is pull number 1 spark plug out, right? Roll our balancer over onto top dead center compression stroke by putting our finger. Once we feel pressure, we know we're close. Then line the markup on the damper with the markup on the cover. Then from there, we measure out our 20 degrees using the existing scale. We add that to the 30 and scribe a line. And that's 50 degrees before top dead center is what Holley wants. Then from there, and mind you, we're still on, top dead center compression stroke. So I ended up rotating the crank counterclockwise so the 50-degree mark lines up with top dead center mark on here. So that's what we got so far. So next step. The next step is, this is when you would drop your distributor in. Now when you drop your distributor in, I was telling you, keep in mind where you want number 1 to sit so your wires all line up. So you're going to drop your distributor down in the block. You need to make sure it's fully seated. And the next thing you do is you make sure that rotor lines up with a spot here on the balancer. So if you guys look down here at this distributor, you'll see there's a gold screw that the rotor tip's pointing to, and then right next to that screw there's a little black looking square. That's part of the, I'm pretty sure that's the Hall effect pickup for this thing. So as per the instructions, when you drop that distributor in where you have number 1 marked, you want the rotor to line up with that little black square where that bolt is, right? So that's step number 1. You have to plug your distributor in, and down on this distributor is 2 LEDs, one for crank and one for cam. Now, granted, at this point, you'll have the distributor down, it's fully seated, you'll have all this stuff lined up. Then what we have to do is rotate the distributor one direction, and then we're going to rotate it the other direction, and as per the instructions, and make sure those LEDs light up and go away. So let me walk over. I'm going to pull the instructions out, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, and then we're going to walk through it together. Okay, instructions pulled out. So small wire Chrysler, our rotor rotates clockwise when we roll the motor over the way we're supposed to. So they have a specific set of instructions just for that. And the first thing it talks about is lining the rotor up with the little black square, which is the pickup. So, right, we already did that. Now, what it says is with power to the distributor, with the key on, both LEDs are lit up. So let's go back over here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right there, so both LEDs are lit up. Our rotor's pointing at our pickup right there. So we got that squared up. That all looks good. Now, slowly turn the housing clockwise until the crank LED goes out. The crank LED is the closest one to the pickup. So we're going to rotate this clockwise until the crank LED goes out. Recent, and we're talking about the housing, right? So right clockwise, right there. So we'll do it again. Right? Watch. Okay, so it goes out. So the crank LED is out. We'll come back over the instructions. Right? Now, slowly turn the housing counterclockwise just until the crank LED comes on. Okay, so we can do that, right? So we just rotate it up so it's on. Or I'm sorry, we rotate this off. So now we're going to do counter till it comes on. Right there. Boom. Now it's back on, just like the instructions say. So we got that. Now you tighten the hold down up. So basically at this point it's set. The next thing you would do, and what the instructions are talking about, is your crank timing. Sorry guys, again this is hard with one hand. Anyway, it's all mangled up. So you do your crank timing. So what you would do is you basically lock the distributor down, and we crank the motor, and whatever we have the dominator set to, so right now I've got it set to 15 degrees, that should be shown on the damper. And if it's not, then I loosen the distributor again, and I just move it a little bit at a time. So we get, while cranking, we're getting 15 degrees before top dead center. Then I lock it down at that point. You should be able to start the vehicle, and then you do your final setup. So that's pretty much it. It's no more complicated than that. Again, I already have mine set up. I just tore it apart for you guys. But if you've never done this, I just want to help you and give you, show you how easy it really is. Like I said, just follow the instructions really specifically. And, I'm sure there's other videos from Holley put out some stuff. This is just specific towards, the 5259 Magnum stuff. But anyway, again, just a quick update. Wanted to do a quick dual sync video for you guys. And hopefully next time you see it, our digital dash will be mounted up. We'll have that in there, the wiring done for that. And maybe we'll try to start this pig. Until next weekend, thanks for watching. See you later.